Hey, it's Ryan and I'm headed inland to the center of Alaska toward Talkeetna, Fairbanks, and Denali. After spending mid-September in South Central Alaska, you can check out that video at the top right, Jordan and I, along with our friends Kelly, Lizzie, Justin, Jonathan, and Victoria, set off north on Highway 3 to explore Alaska's interior as September crept toward a close. Our first stop is the small town of Talkeetna. This town is often called the gateway to Denali as many of the sightseeing flights of the mountain depart from here. It's about 2 hours drive north of Anchorage, so you could make it a full day trip if you aren't driving any further north. Since we were entering late September and getting further away from the end of summer's high season, many shops and tour services were beginning to shut down for the winter. But Talkeetna still had a charming feel, with some local stores and restaurants open for visitors. And the biggest celebrity in town was still around. We got to meet Aurora, Talkeetna's feline mare. Even if you're not taking a sightseeing flight, you can still get a great view of Denali at the end of Main Street in Talkeetna Riverfront Park, if the weather cooperates. We lucked out with clear enough skies to get incredible views of Denali. Standing at 20,310 feet, it's the tallest mountain in North America, and bad weather often hides it from view. In summer, there's only about a 30% chance of seeing it, odds that drop even further in the other seasons. But look at how beautiful and huge it is. There are two common viewing areas just off the highway, aptly named Denali View South and Denali View North, which also have some much needed restrooms. Denali National Park and Preserve is massive at 6 million acres, making it larger than the entire state of New Hampshire, so we had to continue driving further north to even reach the main park road, more than 4 hours drive from Anchorage. Unfortunately, we arrived just as the visitor center was closing down for the season, but that didn't stop us from stretching our legs on a couple short hikes before heading further north. And as the sun set on our long day of driving, the moon rose as we approached Fairbanks. Fairbanks, the largest city in Alaska's interior, grew rapidly after gold was discovered in the early 1900s. Later it became a key military staging area during World War II, and today it serves as the region's cultural and economic hub. The downtown area has lots of cute murals and nice restaurants and bars, though we did run into more than a few sketchy folks, even in the middle of the day. We enjoyed a few cocktails at the library, which really looked like a library inside, and grabbed a couple beers at the Hoodoo Brewing Company. The Museum of the North on the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus has a little bit of everything: taxidermied animals, an apparent Alaska specialty, native art exhibits, an entire whale skeleton suspended from the ceiling, and soon, once exhibit funding is secured, the real-life Bus 142, which served as a shelter for Christopher McCandless, whose story is told in the book and movie Into the Wild. Kelly and Lizzie also checked out the Fairbanks Ice Museum downtown. For $15 a person, it's kinda small, but the ice slide looks pretty fun. We took a few day trips from Fairbanks. The closest was the town of North Pole, Alaska. At only 20 minutes drive from Fairbanks, North Pole is the home to Santa Claus Lane, Candy Cane Light Poles, the Antler Academy Reindeer Experience, the largest Santa statue in the world, and the Santa Claus house where we got to meet the big man himself. If you want an ambitious day trip, you can make the 12-hour round-trip drive north on the mostly gravel Dalton Highway to the Arctic Circle. If you're planning this adventure for yourself, be aware that many rental car companies prohibit travel on this road, so check your agreement first. You'll also need some emergency supplies since there's really nothing out there. And whatever you do, don't run out of gas on the way back. If you do, you better hope for a sliver of cell service and some really good friends. Our last day trip was to Chena Hot Springs, about an hour and a half outside of Fairbanks. This remote resort offers an ice museum, an Alaskan husky kennel tour, a greenhouse visit, and of course the hot springs. While the experience was fun, it felt a bit commercialized. If soaking in the hot springs is your main draw, it might be worth the trip, but otherwise I'd say you can skip it. At least we saw a moose on the way back. Back in town, we had a nice meal at the historic Pump House Restaurant and Saloon, which is right on the Chena River and looks straight out of the Gold Rush era of Fairbanks. Table games and historic artifacts fill the wooden interior, along with our Alaskan favorite, say it with me, taxidermy. On the north side of town, I also recommend the short hike at the Wedgwood Wildlife Sanctuary. The complete loop is 1.4 miles and goes around a small lake and crosses some cute bridges. Even in the chilly weather, it was a nice stroll in nature, and nice to see some local wildlife. Our last stop was Pioneer Park, which is definitely more lively during the summer tourist season, especially when the famous salmon bake is in full swing. But it's still worth a visit in the off-season. The park is packed with history, including old Alaskan rail cars, a recreated gold rush town, large mining equipment, and even a riverboat. You'll also find the Air Museum, a folk school, a dance center, and the Centennial Center for the Arts, which hosts rotating exhibits. Overall, Talkeetna was an adorable town, and seeing Denali in clear weather was a highlight of the trip. While Fairbanks may have fewer attractions than South Central Alaska, it's still a great place to spend a few days, especially if you're chasing the northern lights, which sadly we missed due to clouds. Let me know if you want to visit interior Alaska someday. That is it for Fairbanks and interior Alaska. If you have any questions about anything I did, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. I don't know where I'm going next, but I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye!